On the news tonight, notorious kidnapper Evans sentenced to 21-year imprisonment for kidnapping. Nigerian students defy rainfall in Lagos, demand end to ASUU strike. And court dismisses PDP's suit seeking disqualification of Tinubu and Peter Obi. Well, many thanks for joining us for News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. An Ikeja Special Offences Court in Lagos has sentenced kidnapped kingpin Chukwudimeme Onuwa Madike, better known as Evans, to 21 years imprisonment. Oluwatoyin Taiwo, the presiding judge, also sentenced Victor Aduba, co-defendant, to 21 years in prison. The convicts were charged with plotting to kidnap Silvanus Ahanonu, a businessman, on June 23, 2014 in the Amuwo Odofin neighborhood of Lagos. Delivering judgment on Monday, the judge held that the prosecution successfully proved the case of kidnap and possession of firearms against the convicts. The development comes months after Hakeem Oshodi, an Ikeja High Court judge, convicted Evans and two others on 2 counts of conspiracy and kidnapping. They were found guilty of kidnapping Donatus Dunu, Chief Executive Officer of Maiden Pharmaceuticals Limited. Well, to discuss this further, Evan Tufeli, legal expert, joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, after years of prosecution, kidnapped kingpin Evans has been sentenced to 21 years imprisonment. And not to mention that earlier in February this year was also sentenced to a life imprisonment by another judge. So what do you make of all of this?
Well, the moment he was arrested, that is Evans the kidnapper, in 2016, he was charged to have kidnapped different persons at different times in the past before then. Okay, so in one of the cases before Justice Oshodi of the Lagos State High Court, he was found guilty sometimes last year. Okay, and he was convicted accordingly. So that term of imprisonment is still running. Okay. While that was ongoing, the other court where he was being arraigned for another similar offense just came up today with its judgment, where the prosecution has proved its case beyond reasonable doubt that he and one other person were involved in conspiracy and actual kidnapping, which led to the court giving them 21 years jail term. Okay, so when you look at this constructively, it is going to be a case of several jail terms, because this one is 21 years, the other one is life imprisonment. So at the end of the day, what you are going to have is, if he finishes one, it starts another. Because for one who has been convicted for life imprisonment in Nigeria, the person is going to be there in prison throughout his lifetime, except perhaps there is a stroke of amnesty, or maybe there's a pardon, either from the president. That is what it is. But as it stands now, this is a case of crime against society. It's a case of crime against humanity. So the court have reached its final judgment on the 2 cases. Now, what is open for the defendants and the defendant counsel is the options of appeal, which you have a right to explore. I believe the first conviction is going through an appeal process. And then this is also going to be subjected to appeal process because they still have that option. And if they have the resources and the wherewithal to go through to the Supreme Court, when the Supreme Court hand down its judgment, whether in favor or against the defendant, is going to be the final judgment. But what we have now is they are going to appeal these two judgments separately. Okay, you are going to appeal the first one, which is hinged on a particular term sentence, and then the second one that is coming by 21 years imprisonment. So both appeal will run concurrently if they choose to pursue it that way. We should also bear in mind that there's a time within which you can take on the appeal. So the defendant, is up to the defendant. The prosecution have done a good job in this case to ensure that people who are involved in kidnapping, criminality and all that will take a lesson and a clue from this, that if they are caught, it's not going to be business as usual. In cases where people have kidnapped, they've been arrested and they've gotten away with it. Our laws have come up to age. Now, if you kidnap anyone and you are found guilty of it, it's a capital offense. The offense is severe because of the weight of it. So the prosecution have done its part. It is now for the defendant to explore its option if he chooses to do so. If not, then the jail time stands.
Legal expert, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. Thank you. The National Industrial Court has fixed Wednesday, September the 21st, to rule on the application for an interlocutory injunction filed by the federal government against the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Justice Hammond gave this position after setting aside an application by ASU through its counsel, Femi Falana, opposing to the court's hearing of the federal government's application. The court further said that the preliminary objection was not yet ripe for hearing, added that the rule of the court has provision to hear both the preliminary objection alongside the main suit. In arguing the application, James Igwe for the government said Section 18(1)(e) of the Trade Disputes Act provides that employees cannot be on strike when a matter is before the industrial court. Falana, however, said a referral from the Minister of Labour seeking an order of the court asking ASU to return to work amounts to urging the industrial court, a power which he says the Nigerian president does not have.
The learned counsel for the ASU I said he had filed another application for a preliminary objection, which was served on us right in court at about 11 a.m. And we told the court that application was not ripe for hearing. What was ripe for hearing is the application for interlocutory injunction, and we argued along those lines, and the Honorable Court agreed with us that indeed what is ripe for hearing and what is slated before the court is the application for interlocutory injunction. And we took the application extensively, argued on it, and they responded. The court has reserved a ruling on that application for Wednesday, 21st of September this year. And what we're all saying is that the ASU needs to be restrained, considering the irreparable losses, that while this matter is going on, that the court should restrain them at the moment, let students go back to school, let innocent students, millions of students who are not parties to this matter, go back to school.
We've addressed the court to let the court know that the position of the law. But again, as I said, our clients are most willing to have this strike called off today if the government will at least consider the interests of the students and the national interest. And we hope that the intervention of the House of Reps tomorrow will go a long way to addressing the issues that are still left untouched. An agreement has already been reached. What our clients are asking the government to do is to dot the I's and cross the T's.
Meanwhile, Nigerian university students under the aegis of National Association of Nigerian Students (NANS) have lived up to their threat to disrupt movement and protest the suspension of academic activities by striking lecturers. Travelers, airport users and motorists using the Ajao Estates Link Road to the international airport were stranded as the students blocked all roads leading to the airport. Meanwhile, security personnel, including the officers of the Nigerian police force, were stationed strategically around the area where the students were protesting. ASU has been in a tussle with the federal government since February the 14th, bringing educational activities and many government-owned tertiary institutions to a standstill over unmet demands. Our correspondent, Abisola Adebayo, has the details in this report.
Their demands have not changed. They want the federal government to yield to the demands of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, so that academic activities in Nigerian public universities can resume. Many of these protesters have laid siege here as early as 7 o'clock in the morning. Even after the heavy downpour, they are still at the entrance of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos, chanting solidarity songs with placards in their hands. For these Nigerian students, they have come to say enough is enough to the closure of public universities in the country for over 7 months.
Someone that's supposed to spend 5 years is now spending 8 years, all because of the fact that federal government has decided or deliberately decided not to fulfill the promise that was made by them.
They have their children in the United States of America, United Kingdom. They don't know what we are passing through. But now we are here to show to them that our future is being toyed with, that our students, they are wasting. And by September 28, they are going to start their campaign. They are not going to have time for us. So that's why we are here to show to the masses and also to call on the international bodies to help us to beg our president so that they can allow us to continue our educational journey.
We have utilized the 3 C's of Aluta. We have consulted, we have consolidated, and now we are confronting. We are going confrontational. And we understand that's the language the government understands most. And that's why we have decided to take the bull by its horn to further press on our demand that enough is enough.
Vividly frustrated, the protesters say they are scared for their future if the unabated strike action is not called off immediately.
The police are playing that they want to render us useless, so that when their children came back from abroad, they come and oversee the affairs of Nigeria as they are doing presently now, because our parents are poor. But we are calling on Nigerian citizens to join us in this protest to reopen our school.
We are demanding for an end to ASUU strike. We are demanding for a reformation in the educational sector of Nigeria. We are tired of the dilapidated state of our educational system in this country. So we want a total reformation and we want our students back on campus.
These protests by the Nigerian students have grounded traffic beyond the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. Commuters and travelers are like flying the Ikeja, Oshodi, Apapa route are all stranded as there is no movement of vehicles. You can see them coming out of their vehicles trying to find their way to their destinations on foot. The students say they have decided to block the entrance to the airport because they want every Nigerian to feel and share in their pain.
We are suffering for something we never knew about, and that is the major reason why we have decided that since we have been suffering for something that we never have an idea of for over 7 months and still counting, we want the world and every other persons that will be plying the expressway and that will be making use of the international airport also to suffer the way we are suffering for something that we never have an idea of, and for them to also understand the pain that we are feeling.
But it seems the stranded commuters and travelers that have been in the traffic for hours do not mind. Instead, they also join the students in the call for an end to the strike action.
It's not proper. I mean, come on. They have suffered enough of a fault that is not theirs. So, what else do you expect them to do? When you push one to the wall, I mean, you expect the person to react.
It's so sad that Nigerian government could leave Nigerian students at home for more than 7 months. This is unacceptable. I personally believe that there's no any budget that is too big for education. I will call on the federal government to, as a matter of fact, call on the ASUU, let them resolve this issue, give them whatever they want. Nigeria has the resources.
The students have also vowed to block the third mainland bridge and ground activities in all the Lagos ports in the coming days to further press on their demands. They say no retreat, no surrender until their demands are met. Abisola Adebayo, TV360 News.
A federal high court sitting in Abuja has dismissed a suit instituted by the People's Democratic Party seeking to disqualify the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, and his Labour Party counterpart Peter Obi over alleged unlawful substitution of their running mates. The suit was dismissed on Monday by Justice Donatus Okoronko on the grounds that the court lacked jurisdiction to entertain the suit and that the suit was a gross abuse of court process. Justice Okoronko also held that all the relief sought by the PDP were not grantable as it lacked merit and was aimed at irritating opponents in the 2023 presidential election. In what appears to be a festering crack in the opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the southwest, the spokespersons of the party in the zone have distanced themselves from the call by the Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde for the resignation of the national chairman of the party, Iyorchia Ayu. The publicity secretaries of the PDP in Ogun, Ondo, Lagos and Ekiti say there was no justification for the resignation of the national chairman. They said the national chairman cannot resign at this critical moment the party's campaign is about to kick off, adding that while the concerns of some of the leaders in the southwest are deeply appreciated, attention should be focused on rallying members of the party to support all its candidates vying for various positions.
On behalf of the leadership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP state chapters in Ondo, Osun, Ogun, Ekiti and Lagos states, we, the spokespersons in these states, respectively dissociate ourselves from the calls for the resignation of Dr. Iyorchia Ayu, the PDP national chairman. We wish to affirm our faithfulness to the PDP constitution, which clearly stipulates procedure for leadership election and removal. The leadership of the party in their formation states pledge our unwavering support and unalloyed commitment to our presidential candidate, former Vice President of Nigeria, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and his running mate, His Excellency Senator Ifeanyi Okowa. The mission to rescue, rebuild, and redirect Nigeria is a task that must be done to save our country from imminent total collapse.
The Vice President Yemi Osinbajo signed the condolence register of the state funeral for the late Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. The Vice President, in his condolence message, said Nigeria joins government, the people of the United Kingdom, Commonwealth and rest of the world in expressing sincere condolence to the royal family on the passing of the monarch. Queen Elizabeth II was the head of the Commonwealth and the longest-serving British monarch. She passed on at the age of 96 on September the 8th at the Balmoral Castle in Scotland.
This has truly been, and I think it's a testament to the sort of person the Queen was. In life and death, brought people together, and I think perhaps even more so in death. So for countries like ours, for Nigeria and for the Commonwealth, I think this has been very ennobling, very strengthening, and I'm sure that the King Charles himself felt, somewhat not just the honor of having so many people come by, but also the reassurance that there is a brotherhood across the world, and that the Commonwealth remains strong. Not this time, a Commonwealth of free nations who, willingly subscribe to coming together, to work together, to achieve, sometimes disparate political objectives, but clear economic objectives. So this is excellent, and of course one wishes King Charles very, very well indeed. I mean, I think we're all anxious that he succeeds.
Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come, Queen Elizabeth lowered into royal vault ahead of private family burial. Details of this story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. An Ikeja Special Offences Court in Lagos has sentenced kidnapped kingpin Chukwu Dimeme Onwa Madike, better known as Evans, to 21 years imprisonment. Oluwatoyin Taiwo, the presiding judge, also sentenced Victor Aduba, co-defendant, to 21 years in prison. The convicts were charged with plotting to kidnap Sylvanus Ahanonu, a businessman, on June the 23rd, 2014 in the Amuwo Odofin neighborhood of Lagos. We also told you that Nigerian university students under the aegis of National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, have lived up to their threat to disrupt movement and protest the suspension of academic activities by striking lecturers. Travelers, airport users and motorists using the Ajao Estate Link Road to the international airport were stranded as the students blocked all roads leading to the airport. ASU has been in a tussle with the federal government since February the 14th, bringing educational activities in many government-owned tertiary institutions to a standstill over unmet demands. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are at TV360 Online. President of the United States of America, Joe Biden, says he believes the COVID-19 pandemic is over. In a televised interview, Biden acknowledged the U.S. still has a problem with the virus, but is still doing a lot of work on it. According to him, so many people in the country no longer wear face masks, and everybody seems to be in pretty good shape. The White House is negotiating with Congress to release tens of billions of dollars in funding to pay for vaccines, treatment, and tests. Biden officials are warning that without new funds, the U.S. may no longer be able to provide vaccines and treatment for free. And back home in Nigeria, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has said that vaccine-preventable diseases are still available in the country. NCDC Director General Ifedayo Adetifa discloses during a television interview on Sunday, where he highlighted the agency's plans in addressing the issue. According to him, Nigeria is paying the price for the low vaccination rate for a number of vaccine-preventable diseases. He explained that the NCDC is equally taking measures to contain Omicron and COVID-19 ahead of the Yuletide season. Well, we'll take a breather here and return with more stories and business. Just stay with us.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
Welcome back. Let's now join Bisola Adebayo for more stories and business. Over to you, Bisola.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Business News. The National Assembly has disclosed plans to tackle the 11.03 trillion naira deficit in the proposed 19.76 trillion naira 2023 budget by amending relevant provisions of the Finance Act. This comes as the Senate rejected the budget deficit proposal by the Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed last week. Chairman of the Senate Committee on General Services, Sani Musa, who made this note, said amendment of the Act would make revenue-generating agencies double or triple targets earlier given to them to reduce proposed budget deficits. Well, we'll take a break now and return with stock market report. The Nigerian stock market continued its losing streak from last week today, which is the first trading day of the week, which is why the all-share index closed at 0.07% decline, recording 49,440 basis points. The market capitalization in the same vein is in the negative, as we recorded a 26 trillion naira at the close of trading today. On the stocks that made the market record downward trajectory, we have ABC Trans and University Press Limited topping the losers counter today. Our top gainers, we can see eTransact and Academy recording increase, but their increase could not manage to salvage the market. Our market summary sees 673 million units of shares valued at 1.4 billion naira, exchanging hands in 3,386 deals. It's been red on the NGX since last week, even this week, but we hope that investors will take advantage of this negative season to buy the dip and give us the bull before the end of the week. That's all on Stock Market Report. Back to you, Folashade, for the rest of the news.
Well, many thanks, Abisola, for that update. And on the foreign scene, Queen Elizabeth's coffin has been lowered into the royal vault in St. George's Chapel in the grounds of Windsor Castle. During the committal service, the crown jewels were taken from it and a ceremonial wand of office broken and put in their place. Earlier, huge crowds lined the route taken by the state heirs as it made its way from London to Windsor, with flowers thrown in its path. This morning, a state funeral service was held at Westminster Abbey, the building in which the Queen was married and crowned. During the ceremony, the Archbishop of Canterbury said the late Queen touched a multitude of lives during a 70-year reign.
And dignified presence has given us confidence to face the future as she did, with courage and with hope. As with grateful hearts, we reflect on these and all the many other ways in which her long life has been a blessing to us. We pray that God will give us grace to honour her memory.
Merciful Father, and Lord of all life, we praise Thee that Thou hast made us in Thine image, and that we reflect Thy truth and light. We give special thanks for the life of Thy daughter Elizabeth, for the mercy she received from Thee, and for the example that through her life of service, love and faith.
And in sports, Spartak Moscow has announced the suspension of Senegal forward Keita Balde over an anti-doping violation in Italy. According to a statement by Spartak, Balde's suspension will last till December 5th, adding that he will not be able to resume training until 3 weeks before the end of a suspension, in line with FIFA's regulation. However, the Russian club did not specify the nature of the infraction, but said that no prohibited substance had been detected in the sample tested. And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.